Hey guys. All right, we are going to be talking about simple interest today. Another really good real life section where we're going to be using math that actually is going to be something that you use in the future. So, this is the last section of Unit 6. So, go ahead and write 6.6 at the top. And let's get started. So, our learning intention is to understand and apply the simple interest formula. You'll know you're successful when you can explain the meaning of simple interest and when you can use the simple interest formula to solve problems. So I have some key terms for you. The first term is called interest. So this is the money paid or earned for the use of money. So what this means is if you have a credit card or you get a loan from the bank, you are paying them interest on money that they let you use. Okay, so they're going to charge you a certain percent that you're going to have to pay them back on top of the actual amount of money that you were given. But it also can be money that's earned. So if you put money into a savings account, there might be usually it's very small percentage, and it depends on how much money you have in there, but you would start increasing the amount of money every month. Maybe it's only 10 cents, something like that. It's very small, but that could be money that you earn for the use of money. Okay, so that would be the interest that you're gaining. Most of the time, we know interest as the money that we're spending on, like the credit cards that we might use or the loans that we get from banks. So then we have the principal, which is an amount of money that is borrowed or deposited. Okay, so if I buy a house for $250,000 and I go get a home loan, the principal on my loan would be $250,000 because that's the amount of money I was given. So that was the amount of money that was borrowed. Okay, so that's what principal means. It means the original amount. So now we're going to talk about simple interest. So it's a little bit different than just interest in itself. So simple interest is the amount paid only on the original amount of money, which is also known as the principal, which we talked about up here. So the principal is the original amount. So if you look down on your page, here is your formula. The formula we use for finding simple interest is I equals PRT. So PRT, since they're sitting next to each other, remember when we have variables that are teamed up together, we're multiplying. So P times R times T. Okay, so I'll just even put this here to help you remember. P times R times T. So the I is simple interest. The P is our principal. The R is the rate in the decimal form, and the T is the time in years. Okay, so I know that might sound a little confusing because we haven't talked about rate or time yet, but we're going to look at that right now. So let's flip over the page. So our first problem here in our guided practice says you deposit $500 in a savings account. Good for you. That's fabulous. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. What is the balance after 3 years? Okay, so I'm going to write up here my formula so we don't have to keep looking back, but it's I equals PRT. So interest, principal, rate, and time. So I'm going to look here and figure out what do I know? Okay, what information do I have here? So I know that the principal, which is the original amount, is the $500. So I can put $500. And then do I know it is, what other information do I have here? So we have the account earns 3% simple interest per year. And what is the balance after 3 years? So the rate is the 3%. So I'm going to write 3% as 0.03. And it's 3 years. Okay, so 500 times 0.03 times 3. That's what I'm going to be using to figure out my answer. So my interest, because I'm trying to figure out how much interest am I making, right? The account earns 3%, but I don't know what that means. So 3% would be 500 times 0.03 times 3. If I put that into a calculator, that would get me $45 in interest that I earned. So that's not the answer to our question, though. The answer to our question is, what is the balance after 43 years? So if I deposit $500 into my account and I leave it there, I don't touch it at all for 3 years, it's going to earn me an extra $45. So I'm going to add $45 to this amount. And that means after 3 years, I will have $545 in my account. So that would be my balance after 3 years. Seems like not a ton of money for 3 whole years, right? That seems like a lot of time. But if you have the money and you're not touching it, it's nice to just have money keep growing and building in a savings account like that. So if you can do it, it's definitely worth it. So let's look at problem number 2. You deposit $1,000 in an account. The account earns $100 simple interest in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? Okay, interest rate. I have no idea. So that's what I'm looking for, right? My annual interest rate. That would be my R. So I equals PRT. So let's see what I know. You deposit $1,000 into the account. Okay, so I know my principal. That's my original amount. And the account earns me $100. Cool. So that's my interest. That's how much I earned. And it happened in 4 years. So that's my T. So I'll say times 4. And I'm still trying to figure out what my R is. So I'm going to leave R right there. So let's figure this out. 1,000 times 4 is 4,000. So this will be 4,000 R equals 100. I need to get R by itself, so I'm going to divide by 4,000 on both sides. So 100 divided by 4,000 would be 0.025. Yes, you may use a calculator for these. Or 25 thousandths R. But I'm going to change this into a percent, right? Because we're looking for when we're talking annual interest rates, they're always written as a percentage. So let's change this into percentage. I'm going to multiply this by 100. So that moves my decimal place 2 places to the right. So it'll be 2.5% is what my annual interest rate is. Okay. All right, let's look at one more problem before I send you on your way to do your You Try It. So problem 3 says a bank savings account has a simple annual interest rate of 2%. How long does it take an account with a principal of $800 to earn $100 in interest? All right, let's see what information we have. So we know, do we know the interest? It says we're trying to figure out 100. Right? $100 in interest. So we know the interest. Do we know the principal? Yes, we know the principal. So that original amount of $800. Do we know the rate? The annual interest rate of 2%. Okay, perfect. 2% written as a decimal would be 0.02 or 200, sorry. And then do we know the time? No, because it says how long does it take? So that's asking time, right? So we're going to multiply that by T. So 800 times 0.02 comes out to 16. So 100 equals 16T. I need to get T by itself, so I'm going to divide by T on both sides. So 100 divided by 16, if I throw that into my calculator really quick, that's going to get me 6.25 or 6 and 25 hundredths. So it will take 6.25 years to earn $100 on my $800 in my savings account. All right, so you are going to do the You Try It problems here. I gave you 3 problems very similar to the ones we just did together. Make sure you're looking at the guided practice above, and you're looking at the information on the front to help you solve these problems. So don't forget your formula is I equals PRT. And then fill in the information you know and solve for what you don't know. All right, have a great day.